Most people think abundance is about money, but true abundance is about living free, fulfilled, and fully alive. Most people believe abundance starts with money. They imagine that if they could just earn more, if they could just hit a certain number in their bank account, life would finally feel rich. But abundance doesn't begin with money, it begins with mindset. Money in the bank without abundance in the mind still leaves you feeling poor. On the other hand, an abundant mindset can create opportunities, relationships, and resources long before the money shows up. Think about people who win the lottery. Many of them suddenly gain more money than they ever dreamed of, yet within a few years they are broke again. Why? Because their mindset never changed. They still thought in terms of scarcity, fear, and short-term gratification. Without the inner foundation of abundance, the outer wealth slipped away. Contrast that with people who start with very little but carry a mindset of growth, possibility, and gratitude. They build wealth steadily because their mind is already rich. An abundant mind, that doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to see opportunities where others see obstacles. It means believing that resources are not limited to what you currently hold in your hands. It means refusing to live as a victim of circumstance and instead training yourself to think, what can I create? How can I grow? What's the lesson here? That way of thinking opens doors that a poverty mindset will never notice. Scarcity thinking whispers, there's not enough. If someone else succeeds, it takes away from me. Abundance thinking declares, there's more than enough. Someone else's success proves what's possible for me. Scarcity hoards, fears, and clings. Abundance shares, learns, and expands, and the truth is, your outer life will always mirror your inner beliefs. Once you shift your thinking, money becomes a tool instead of a measure of worth. Relationships become partnerships instead of competitions. Work becomes creation instead of survival. This is the soil in which freedom grows. Without this mindset, no amount of money will ever feel like enough. With it, even small beginnings can grow into something extraordinary. So the first step toward creating a life of abundance and freedom is not chasing wealth, but cultivating the mindset that attracts and sustains it, because abundance begins in the mind long before it ever shows up in your bank account. Everyone desires freedom, the freedom to live on your own terms, to make choices without fear, to enjoy life without constant pressure. But here's the part many overlook. Freedom is never handed out freely, it is earned through responsibility. You cannot escape responsibility and still expect freedom. In fact, responsibility is the very price you pay for true independence. Think about financial freedom. People often dream of a life where money worries no longer control them. Yet that freedom doesn't arrive by chance. It comes from the responsibility of managing money wisely, budgeting, saving, investing, resisting unnecessary spending. These responsibilities create the structure that makes freedom possible. Without them, the illusion of freedom quickly turns into debt, stress, and limitation. The same principle applies to health. The freedom to move easily, to feel strong, to live without constant medical issues. That freedom requires responsibility first. Responsibility in the form of exercise, proper rest, and wise nutrition. Ignoring these responsibilities may feel easier today, but it costs your freedom tomorrow when energy fades and the body weakens. Even in relationships, freedom and responsibility are linked. If you want the freedom of deep trust and lasting love, it comes from the responsibility of honesty, commitment, and consistent effort. Neglect those responsibilities, and the freedom of intimacy and connection vanishes. The truth is, many people confuse freedom with escape. They think freedom means avoiding responsibility, doing whatever they feel in the moment. But that kind of freedom always ends in chains. The person who avoids work becomes trapped by poverty. The person who avoids discipline becomes trapped by weakness. The person who avoids accountability becomes trapped by chaos. Real freedom is not the absence of responsibility, it's the reward of embracing it. And here's the beautiful irony. The moment you begin to take full responsibility for your life, freedom begins to appear. Responsibility puts you in control. It says, I am the author of my story. My choices create my future. That shift changes everything. Instead of waiting for life to hand you freedom, you start building it brick by brick through responsible decisions. So if you truly want freedom, financial, physical, emotional, or spiritual, don't run from responsibility. Run toward it, because freedom and responsibility are not enemies, they are inseparable partners. One cannot exist without the other. At the heart of abundance and freedom lies one quality that transforms everything: gratitude. It may sound simple, but gratitude is one of the most powerful forces you can cultivate. While greed leaves people restless, constantly chasing what they don't have, gratitude opens the door to fulfillment and multiplies what you already possess. Greed says, "I'll be happy when I get more." Gratitude says, "I'm already blessed, and more is welcome too." That difference in mindset changes your entire experience of life. A person consumed by greed may achieve wealth, but will never feel rich. Their success becomes a prison of dissatisfaction, because no matter what they acquire, it's never enough. On the other hand, a grateful person can have modest beginnings and still feel wealthy, because they recognize the value in what they already hold. But gratitude does more than make you feel good. It sets you up to receive more. Think about it. If life is a garden, gratitude is the water that makes it grow. When you appreciate the small opportunities, you position yourself to receive bigger ones. When you value the relationships around you, they deepen and multiply. When you show gratitude for your current income, health, or resources, you cultivate a mindset that attracts greater abundance. It's important to understand that gratitude doesn't mean complacency. It doesn't mean you stop striving for more. Instead, it gives you a healthy foundation. You can still dream of wealth, success, or freedom, but now your pursuit comes from a place of joy rather than desperation. Gratitude makes the journey lighter because you're no longer running from emptiness. You're moving forward with fullness. Another secret about gratitude is how it changes your relationships. People are naturally drawn to those who appreciate them. A thankful person is magnetic. Whether in business, family, or friendships, gratitude builds bridges, strengthens trust, and creates loyalty. Greed, by contrast, pushes people away. Nobody enjoys giving more to someone who never acknowledges what they already have. Finally, gratitude transforms your inner world. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from problems to possibilities. Every day you practice it, your perspective grows richer, and when your perspective grows, your opportunities grow with it. So, the path to abundance and freedom doesn't come from wanting more at all costs. It begins with recognizing the treasures already in your life, because gratitude doesn't just unlock joy. It unlocks the flow of abundance in every direction. Dreams and goals are important, but without systems to support them, they eventually fade. What separates those who live in abundance from those who merely wish for it is not luck, nor even talent, but the ability to build daily habits and systems that carry them forward when motivation runs out. Motivation is fleeting, but systems are steady. Habits shape the future more reliably than bursts of inspiration ever could. Think about money. Anyone can earn money for a short time, but only those with systems create sustainable wealth. A habit of saving, an automated investment plan, or a system for tracking expenses, these aren't exciting, but they are powerful. Over time, they create freedom. Without them, even a large income can disappear as quickly as it arrives. Systems protect you from the traps of inconsistency and impulse. The same applies to health. A person who waits until they feel motivated to exercise will rarely be consistent. But the one who creates a system, an early morning workout routine, pre-planned meals, scheduled rest, will build health that lasts. Over time, these small, repeated disciplines compound into strength, energy, and freedom of movement that others envy but rarely achieve. In business or personal growth, systems are equally essential. You can't rely on willpower alone. Habits of learning, scheduling, prioritizing, and reviewing progress create a framework that makes success inevitable. If you build a system that forces you to grow, whether through reading, mentorship, or deliberate practice, you won't have to wonder if you'll improve. The system guarantees it. Here's the truth: habits and systems work whether you pay attention to them or not. If you don't design them consciously, life will design them for you. The habit of procrastination, the system of poor spending, the routine of wasted time, these two create results. They create scarcity, stress, and limitation. The difference is whether you take charge of your habits or let them take charge of you. Sustainable wealth, whether financial, emotional, or spiritual, doesn't come from what you occasionally do. It comes from what you consistently do. A single act of discipline might feel good for the moment, but repeated acts of discipline, organized into systems, create transformation. So if you want abundance and freedom, don't just chase motivation. Build structures that make discipline automatic. Create habits so deeply rooted that success becomes your default outcome. Because when systems and habits are in place, abundance isn't a question of if, it's only a matter of when. When most people hear the word abundance, their minds immediately go to money. And yes, financial resources are a part of abundance. They give you choices, opportunities, and the ability to live with greater ease. But true abundance stretches far beyond the numbers in your bank account. Money alone cannot fill an empty life. Real abundance touches every area of your existence. Imagine a wealthy person who has millions yet suffers from broken relationships, poor health, and constant anxiety. Is that abundance? Hardly. That's poverty dressed in gold. Compare that to someone who may not be wealthy by society's standards but wakes up healthy, surrounded by people they love, engaged in work that fulfills them, and at peace within. That is real wealth. True abundance begins with the inner life. A heart filled with peace, gratitude, and purpose is richer than one filled with fear, bitterness, or emptiness. Without inner abundance, outer riches feel hollow. But when you cultivate joy, gratitude, and purpose within, even small material blessings feel multiplied. Abundance is also about time. Money can be earned, lost, and regained, but time cannot. Having the freedom to spend your days as you choose, to be present with your family, to pursue passions, to rest without guilt. That's wealth many overlook. If money costs you all your time, it robs you of abundance rather than creating it. Health is another dimension of abundance. What good is financial prosperity if your body cannot carry you to enjoy it? Energy, vitality, and the freedom to move and explore are treasures more valuable than luxury cars or mansions. Without health, every other form of wealth loses its shine. Relationships form yet another pillar. Love, trust, friendship, and community make life meaningful. You can sit at the grandest table, but if you sit there alone, abundance is missing. The richness of life often comes not from possessions, but from shared experiences with people who matter. And finally, abundance is about contribution. The ability to give, to uplift, to make a difference in the lives of others. This creates a depth of wealth that money cannot buy. Contribution turns success into significance. So, when we talk about creating a life of abundance and freedom, let's not limit the definition. Money is a tool, but true abundance is multidimensional. It's health, love, peace, time, purpose, and the joy of giving. That's the kind of abundance that lasts, that frees you not only to live well, but to live fully. Abundance and freedom are not reserved for a chosen few. They are available to anyone willing to shift their thinking, embrace responsibility, and live with discipline. It begins in the mind with a belief that life has more to offer than survival. It grows through gratitude, which multiplies blessings instead of chasing endlessly after more. It takes form through systems and habits, because without structure, even the best intentions fade. And it reaches its fullest expression when you recognize that true abundance is more than money. It's health, love, peace, purpose, and the freedom to live on your own terms. The bridge from scarcity to abundance, from limitation to freedom, is built one choice at a time. Choose gratitude over greed, responsibility over excuses, consistency over chaos. As you do, you won't just accumulate wealth, you'll create a life rich in meaning, filled with opportunity, and free in the deepest sense. That is the life of abundance and freedom.